Blind my ears here.
Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. It has been a fun holiday. We've taken the past couple weeks off. We've had some traveling, Mick, myself, Slayton, but we have a very special episode today. Today, we are going to be reviewing a Dynasty League that is very special to Mick and myself. It is called the Royal Rumble Dynasty League. And with us today, we also have one of our members, Chuck Buchanan here. Chuck, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's can be a little intimidating to some. So you're pretty brave, man, for stepping out and showing your face and everything like that. A lot of people are a little skeptical sometimes about their takes, and because we're kind of secretive, So, but we don't have that problem here. So, Mick, you are the commissioner of this league. So let everybody know, some details about the league, when you started it, why you started it, things like that, man. Take it away.
To me, this is the best Dynasty League I'm in, and not just because I commission it, but because I assembled this league with killers. Like every single guy in this league,
like the Avengers?
Is pretty much. It's basically the Avengers of Dynasty. We should just go back to the Avengers because it's kind of like Game of Thronesy. But anyway, it's not Game of Thronesy. It just a couple of people have that name. But everyone in this league is freaking super tuned in. We're all sickos. You know how there's always one or two leagues where there's always a couple guys that don't really care, and you could tell they're not really tuned in? There are 12 guys in this league that are completely tuned in at all times, wanting to trade, talking football. It's the most active chat, I think, by far of all of my chats for fantasy football. Like there's always something going on every day in it. And yeah, and it's really good. I mean, it's only 3 years in now, and I think everyone finally has the good concept of value. So now I think things get interesting we have Chuck was the first person to rebuild, if I'm correct, right?
It's argue second. I think Corey started that trend.
Pooner was the first one to rebuild, and then Chuck started rebuilding, and now Justin is stacking the 27 class, which is a smart time to rebuild. But anyway,
did Corey do it a little bit when we first started, if I remember correctly?
You are correct. Corey started
rebuilding year one.
He started the startup rebuild, and then the startup rebuild, that was great. And then he realized, oh shit, I need to rebuild because he didn't like his draft. And that's how I got Bijan and CD and stuff, because I was just buying those guys up. All right, but we're going to kick off the show because we have a lot to go over and I don't want this to go too long. So the Royal Rumble review show sheet. So first we're going to start with the season review on what happened. And that is going to be what we do for the Royal Rumble is points possible. A lot of people go points forward, which accumulates your correct starting, and it doesn't factor bench points. But I like to go off points possible in this league because what it does is it shows the truly elite teams. So Team Dills was first in points for points possible, and JR is going to put that graphic up right there. And as you can see, I kind of wanted to go into this because you could see how he basically shit on everyone. I was the second team, and Dylan had the best team by about 200 points. But you can see, I wanted you guys to get into this. Like, this is a very interesting graphic that MFL has. If you can see points possible, that's PP. And then you look over to the right, and it's your percentage of your starts, or like basically the correct time you started that guy and got it right. So Dylan was down to 84. and let's see, I think another one was a big one too. It was Corey, I believe I was looking at earlier. I don't think Corey. Yeah. Corey was only at 81%. So like Corey wasn't making right starts either. And that's big in Dynasty is you have to make these start sits. And that's kind of how I assemble my rosters where I have hammers, but then I don't have a bunch of bunch seats that I hate making decisions. I don't like having 4 of the same type of player. I don't like having a DJ Moore, a Jerry Jeudy, a Michael Pittman. I think that's a losing strategy in Dynasty because you're deciding on what to like start with those guys. I'd rather trade 3 of those guys for one elite guy and then just fill in my flex with some freaking Kayjon Boutte or something and just capture his spike weeks. And to me, I think that's easier because you can see that Dylan had really good bench points. Like he had the most bench points. So he had the hardest decisions that week, each week in order to start. So I think that's another tier of Dynasty that people don't think about. What do you guys think? Chuck, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it makes it tricky because I feel like these lineups that we have, there's so many players, and I feel like it fluctuates because obviously my team, I don't have any players, and Justin, same thing. Like he kind of like depleted his team, so there's a lot of teams, particularly at the top, that have a lot of good players, and you got to navigate through that. And I think that's kind of challenging because you're not just looking at the player and the talent, but you're also looking at the matchup. And when I was looking over and reviewing some of these playoff matchups, I really saw that the guys were looking at the matchups and not starting guys because the matchup was not as strong as some other guys. And I think that actually hurt them a little bit on some of those. And I mean, we can get into that too, but it does make it more challenging because most of the guys at the top 4 have, I think maybe outside of Pooner, you guys are stacked with players and not just like mid-tier, lower tier players, but like good quality players. And so that makes it challenging because then it's like, okay, well, who are you going to start that week that is going to give you the best chance to win? And that makes it challenging. So
it is. It's just another layer of Dynasty. Justin, what do you think about that? Like your percentages of starting players and stuff in Dynasty. What's your philosophy?
I think when you're between that 80-85% range or higher, I think you're doing as best as you can. Now, if you don't have a high points for, but your efficiency is high, I mean, that's just players. That's nothing you can do. I mean, you put the best squad out there, but man, if it's something where, like, let's say okay, so I'm at 82, so 80, so anything like under 80, then it's just kind of, you gotta either play better matchups or do more research or something. Because I mean, this is Dynasty. This is where the big dogs eat. I mean, it's kind of easy to win in redraft, but here, like, you really, really got to know what you're doing and do your homework here. So having that efficiency is definitely going to help you win. I mean, look at the top of the board here. I mean, we got Pooner at 87.6, Youngie at 86.7, your Grace at 88, and then Dills at 84. Like, these are really good numbers. Of course, you got Raw Milk and Stugatz at 87, 89, but the points for doesn't help. So that's not on them. They made the right roster choice, but the players just didn't perform. That's not on them.
And that's another thing is just having a deep bench just makes it harder in order to start these start decisions. And I hate having that personally because I go back each week. I set my lineup on freaking Tuesday, and then I see who I need to pick up from the waivers. This is redraft, and then I just look at it every single day. Wednesday, has something changed? I look at Twitter. Thursday, has something changed? I look at Twitter. Friday, how's the weather? I look at Twitter, and I'm making these decisions. So if I can have the less, but that's a fine line, whether you want a deep bench, which you do want a deep bench. I'll never argue that, but you also don't want, like, again, the same player 4 times that you have to decide. But anyway, we will move on since we're not beating a dead horse, but we have a lot to get through. So we'll go over your Grace came in first, Dylan came in second, and then a lot of leagues don't have a third place finish, and I don't even think Youngie was aware that third place got paid out. That's Greg, by the way, because I think one of his tight ends didn't play, and he actually started him, but he still beat Pooner in the consolation bracket, so he got paid out. He got his money back. So we're gonna start this show after that to the playoff review. We're gonna go by each round. We're not going to go too in depth, but we just want to talk a little bit about it. But there was one thing that I want to get at, to whereas the situation between, we made a rule that the 5th and 6th place teams that made playoffs were the top points. So it went by division for 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 5 and 6, the top points got in. And me as commissioner, I messed up, I'll admit. But we in earlier week said that the matchups were going to be this because the matchups weren't correct when I originally set them. I didn't get it right. So then no excuses or anything. I just got busy and it completely flipped my mind. And I actually didn't change those matchups until I believe Thursday or Friday. And we got complaints from the guys playing each other that they were setting their lineups and placing these other prop bets on other sites to bet against players that they're going against. And then I kind of switched it because someone made a gripe in the group text. So I switched it. So some guys said I should have left it as it was, and some guys said I should have switched it. Chuck, what is your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it could go either way. I think whichever decision you decide to make, someone's going to be unhappy about it. So it's a kind of like a lose-lose situation. And, find me one commissioner that has never made a mistake when it comes to this type of stuff. Like I'm guilty. I've made mistakes and I've been commissioner of leagues. It happens. I think you just revert back to the original rule, which I think is what you did, right?
Yes.
Am I correct in saying that? I think you just go back to the original rule because then that kind of takes the onus off of you, because at the end of the day, it's like, well, this was the original rule that we agreed on when we first started this. So I know there's some gray area there, but I just think that, you just always go back to what you originally started with. And then that kind of takes out all the skepticism of, because you have no skin in it. It's not it doesn't really make a difference for your team or what you're doing. In that situation. So I don't know.
And I believe that in the end, it wouldn't have mattered. I think it would have came out to me and Dill in the championship, because I think Corey's team got even obliterated the next week with injuries, and he just wouldn't have had a good week anyway. But Justin, so we'll go to the week 15 head-to-head matchups that you have the graphic on, and we'll start with Corey, which is Dracarys, and Youngie. That was a close match. That was a good one. That was because Corey had Pitts go off for 55 points in that matchup. And then he had he had Goff, but actually I think Mahomes got hurt that week. But he had good scores across the board. They all had like 15s, but Youngie's team really exploded. He had the monster game from Kirk Cousins, monster game from Cook. Jamar Chase put up, and then he had the monster game from Jameson Williams. So he was able to edge him out. I mean, that's a really good matchup right there, 215 to 202. Justin, you see anything that caught your eye?
I mean, that's kind of the match that you're excited to have if you're watching it. Of course, myself, I'm watching the whole playoffs from the outside. This wasn't a league where, I knew I was in it, so I got to enjoy the playoffs. No, I mean it turned out to be a close one, and it's fun when you get that banter on the text threads and everything like that. But yeah, but seeing Alex coming up limp on Pooner, that kind of sucks, man.
Yeah, and Alex made a move, so we don't need to go in that matchup because Alex's team didn't put up a good show. But I did want to go over a trade he went instead of going over the matchup and get your guys' perspective on it. So Alex received Michael Wilson and Brenton Strange, and he sent Golden, DK, a third, 2 fourths, and a 5th. Chuck, what side of the deal do you like for that? Keep in mind, Bo, who received the picks, Golden and DK is rebuilding, and Alex was competing, so he took Michael Wilson and Brenton Strange. What do you think?
I love that trade for Alex because I'm out on receivers in Green Bay. I mean, I just feel like
Yeah, who the hell do you trust? Yeah.
I was thinking about, so whenever I was, you guys were talking about getting on this show, I was thinking about something that I was pondering with. I don't know if I'm wrong in saying this, but do you think that quarterbacks, like the younger quarterbacks, are having a harder time finding a number one, or is it that some of these teams just can't find a number one? Because I feel like a lot of these younger quarterbacks kind of spread the ball around a little bit more. I could be wrong in saying that, but I've just kind of noticed that with not just the Packers, but with a couple other teams. Because I went in on Golden on some redrafts, and it didn't pay off at all. And I feel like over the years, especially with Green Bay, they're like kind of the poster child for this. They just since Devontae left, they do not have a number one, and they were historically, when Rodgers was there, they had their number one wide receiver almost every year. And then that just kind of dissipated once Devontae left. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on that.
That's a great question because I've also noticed that, and I've seen fantasy scoring. Running backs killed it again this year. And there was maybe about 5 wide receivers that scored high. But if you go to max points and you go to running backs and then you go to receivers, there's a clear difference that you wanted running backs mostly. There's only about 4 wide receivers that smashed this year that actually gave you better odds on your team. So, Justin, that's a good question. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, it's as far as Green Bay receivers to that point. Yeah, I can't trust any of them. I like them, but for real NFL, for real football, but for fantasy, it's just kind of. I feel like it's the same thing as we used to get with the Bill Belichick running back by committee.
Right?
Like, who are you going to get? It's not worth the gamble to me. So I try and stay away from all that.
I definitely do see it. I think you're right, Chuck, that like younger guys are spreading it out because of the college offenses they're coming at. Like, I can't really name one young quarterback, maybe someone can pitch in, that actually was hyper targeting their number one wide receiver. Like, not one this year, none of them.
It's the older quarterbacks that have been in the league a while that are going to their number one. So like Matthew Stafford, like he had 2 number ones. He had Devontae and he had Puka. But Puka got a little bit more of that target share than Devontae did. I think Devontae got more in the red zone and the end zone targets than Puka did while he was healthy. But I mean, if you look at like Minnesota, for example, Jefferson was a dud this year. And I have him in a couple leagues. And younger quarterback, I don't know. I mean, I would say the only one that's on the younger side might be Sam Darnold because he was, he had a great year with JSN. So I don't know. I've just kind of noticed that, and I thought about it today, and I'm like, man, maybe that's something that's of the future. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense if you're an offensive coordinator. Stop having that one alpha to where they can get shut down to spread it out. It sucks for fantasy. Obviously, we hate that, but I mean, you do score more points. You keep a defense guessing if that's the situation, and I think Green Bay is kind of like that. Prototypical, hey, what receiver do we cover? But yeah. Sam Darnold's I still consider him an older guy just because like that was kind of before that transition of this new style of football. So I think after that we'll see more of this Jordan Love spread the ball around, Matt LaFleur type stuff.
Yep. Yeah, but as far as the trade goes, I think that Alex slam that one. I mean, Brenton Strange is a comparable tight end, and I would say above average tight end in our league because there's not a lot of tight ends to go around, and obviously tight end's a huge premium.
Well, I don't know if we specified our format. Did you do that, Mick? Superflex and tight end premium.
Yeah, and start 2 tight end.
Okay.
Yeah. Tight ends play a big role.
Yeah, and then once Marvin Harrison went out, Michael Wilson's there. He's a good receiver and he catches a lot of passes, especially with Jacoby Brissett at the helm, right? I think if Kyler was in there, maybe would not have been the same outcome because he's a little bit more of a runner too. He's horrible. I'm so out on him. I don't even want to start.
Michael Wilson has got to be one of my biggest risers in fantasy football this year. So I agree with you, bro. Like Red Zone Reindeers stole that trade.
Yeah,
and it's not even. You can't even argue say it was close.
Yep. Yeah, and I think he's positioned for the next couple of years with those guys because they're still young. I mean, I don't know Brendan Strange. I'm not sure. I don't know much about him, but
he just got
young.
Okay.
Yeah, he's only a couple of years in. But
okay,
what I saw from them using Brendan Strange, even before he got hurt and he coming back, like he's getting targeted. So Liam Cohen has definitely helped Trevor Lawrence out, and of course, with Trevor Lawrence, that's going to help Brendan Strange.
Yep.
All right, so we'll jump to week 16 now. That was the semifinals, and we'll start with Pooner versus Dills. And as you can see, Pooner had a young team. He had, I think, 10 picks in the 25 draft for the first round, and then he had a bunch of seconds, bunch of thirds. And he hit on a bunch of these players, but as you can see, sometimes rookies don't always put up a good show. He had Travion put up a dud. Jackson Dart put up 2 points for him. That killed him right there. And then, but he did sneak Fanning in there, and Fanning had a good week. So, yeah, Pooner just didn't have a good week. Not one of his players did very well, except for Ted. Ted actually had a good game. But as you can see, Dill's team, Dill didn't even have a good week because Dylan was steadily putting up 180 to 200 points every single week, but he actually put up 160. So he kind of got lucky here. That's when Josh Jacobs, I think he was the main force behind his team. And that's when Jacobs, they shouldn't have even started him. Jacobs went in and didn't even do shit. And then Kelsey didn't do anything. He started Waller, but he got a bunch of 20s from other guys like Gibbs and Henry. They all had good games. So that was a good semis. It was a low scoring semis, but it wasn't bad. And then I'll jump to me and Youngie. I don't know. I just had a great week. I mean, freaking Chris Olave carried me. He put 36 points up for me. There's a common denominator in fantasy football, and I feel like Chris Olave, which we'll get to that in our Kingmaker show, but Chris Olave was my best value pick per round because you're getting him pretty late in redraft, and he was on a lot of finals teams that I saw, or at least semifinals teams. But yeah, I had a good week. I had a really good week. I was up by a lot. And then actually Youngie, I think it was the Monday night game. He had CMC go on a couple of guys, and it got pretty close, but I was able to edge him out there. And then we'll jump to the final week, which was me and Dylan, which was actually a great freaking head-to-head for the finals. It was everything you wanted. Freaking Dylan's team, he had the gigantic game from Derrick Henry. He put up 45, and I just thought that was over. But that's when Justin was saying it was complete luck, or it's complete luck for Dynasty once you get to the finals, because we were talking, me and Dylan, and if I didn't get the big run from JCM, he had like a 80-yard touchdown run, and if I didn't get the big run from Bijan at the end, the 90-yard touchdown run, then that score is almost even. It's like basically by 2 points. But I was able to edge him out. It came down to Monday night. I had, I believe, Bijan going against Stafford. So that was really fun to watch. I was driving home, and Corey and Dylan were just texting back and forth. I didn't even want to hear or watch, but it ended up working out for me. I didn't think I was going to win the championship this year. I thought Dylan or some other team would sneak in, but you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, it's always fixed whenever the commissioner wins a league. So I put a challenge in the league office, and still waiting to hear back about that.
All right.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were going to say you like this league so much because you won this year.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I was waiting for that.
The crazy thing is I'm in 11 leagues, and I want to win my Dynasty league the least. I wanted to win all my other leagues more because I want to see you guys win and like take it home and feel good and have someone else. I just kind of want to have a good league going. So the fact that I won, I was happy. Don't get me wrong. A championship is a championship, but honestly, I don't care. I just want someone to win. I just want the team and the league to do good. And it seems like everyone is. So that was our review for the playoffs championship. Next, we're going to go to a team review each. We're going to break down each team on their outlook for the 26th season and for the future also. So we are going to start first. Our first team is going to be the Red Zone Reindeers. They made the playoffs this year. That's Alex's team. Justin, I will let you kick it off on what you think about Alex's team moving forward.
So, all right. So let's look at Alex's team here. So as far as quarterbacks go, he's super heavy on quarterback, which is always a good thing in Superflex. He's got Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco, Sam Howell, which nobody, Tyler Huntley, who's not a bad backup for whatever team he's on. So that's a pretty decent stash, especially when you have Lamar Jackson, which he does. So that helps him out a lot. Cooper Rush and then Bryce Young. So I'm pretty shocked at what Bryce Young has been able to put on the field this year, but not so shocked at what Dave Canellis has been able to do. So at quarterback, he's looking pretty good, at least in the near future. To the running backs, man, Rico Dowdle, probably the greatest like waiver pickup we've had in recent history in my mind. He'd come out and just destroyed everything. Kenneth Gainwell had some good things. He has Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and Jaylen Warren. All his running backs did pretty well this year. Breece Hall is going to be his biggest question mark, I think, going forward. We saw at the trade deadline that Breece Hall was making all these cryptic tweets and all this stuff when he was seeing guys leave the Jets organization. That's got to tell you a lot about the Jets. I mean, that's not great for Breece Hall, but we'll see. Maybe they can get on good terms and, bring in the right person. Kenneth Walker's got a big question mark for me on his team because it seems like they like Zach Charbonnet a lot more. So this kind of breaks my heart. I hated when Zach Charbonnet went there. So I was like, this is stupid. Why are you doing that? I hated when they drafted Tank Bigsby to the Jaguars behind Travis Etienne because I like Tank Bigsby too. And that didn't, obviously we see Tanks now in the Eagles being a nobody. So he's very droppable. But Jaylen Warren got paid. He'll be there the next year or two. I think they're still hoping that Caleb Johnson, the rookie that they drafted out of Iowa, can become something. We'll see, but he's very smart for having that Jaylen Warren insurance policy. As far as receivers go, we're looking at Jordan Addison, Diami Brown, Jerry Jeudy, Quentin Johnston, Lad McConkey, Jonathan Mingo, George Pickens, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Cedric Tillman, Michael Wilson that we talked about. He got in that trade where he basically just robbed a bank. So his receivers are looking really, really good, by the way. I mean, I like Jordan Addison. Lab McConkey is really good. George Pickens, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the addition of Michael Wilson. He's got a really good stable of receivers, which in Dynasty you want good young receivers, and he's got that. So that's going to help him out. And his tight ends, Zach Ertz, I mean, he's pretty much done any minute now. He'll announce his retirement. But he's got Jake Ferguson and Brenton Strange. So he's got two. He's got one really good tight end, and then he's got Brenton Strange, who can be a good tight end.
He's got Ferguson on taxi too.
Yeah. So next down on taxi squad, the only really one to talk about is Terrence Ferguson. It looks like Terrence Ferguson is going to be the tight end one going forward in LA for the Rams. So good for him on being forward thinking on that, not just sitting on. Before he made the Brenton Strange and the Jake Ferguson trades, he didn't really have much as far as tight end, except as Zach Ertz. But anyways, to sum it up, I think Red Zone Reindeers is going to have a good future at wide receiver. But as far as overall, I think the running back room probably needs to have some attention. So other than that, man, I think this is going to be a competitor for the next 3 or 4 years easily.
Chuck, what do you think?
It's sad to hear this review because there's a lot of players that I have on my team that were traded to him. I think 3 or 4 guys that you were talking about were once on my team that I traded. So yeah, no, I agree. I think that he's got a lot of potential. I think especially in wide receiver. I mean, there's a lot of young guys there, and not just young guys, but established guys too. obviously Amon-Ra's at the forefront of that, very established. And I do think Michael Wilson, I don't know how they made that trade. Like, that's crazy to me that he got that.
What do you have on him, Alex?
He's just trying to, Bo was trying to cash out, and you never know. That could be a good trade. We are not fortune tellers. Maybe Maserati or Mazda Marv comes back, and then Michael Wilson relegates to his 6 targets without Brissett. You never know. But the trade at the time was good because when he made the trade, that was when Wilson was putting up spike weeks, and he continued to put up spike weeks. But I do like Alex's team. I think it's deep. He's not gonna, but I don't think it's got like first of all finish. And I don't want Alex to hear this, but he will, because he's very crafty and he'll do something. Because he's got a lot of pieces. My only gripe is he doesn't have any picks, so he's got to come up with ways to improve this roster by trading players. But knowing Alex can do that because he's one of the best dynasty players I've played with. So moving on, we are going to move on to our gracious Kingmaker. Okay. And we're starting with his team, and I will break your team down. There isn't much to break down, but what Justin is doing, which is smart, is he started rebuilding with the 2027 class, which is good. So we have 2 rebuilders in this group right now. Chuck basically owns, when we get to his team, he owns the 26 draft, and Justin is really starting to own the 27 draft, and that's exactly how you rebuild. You stack as many picks as you can. So
in a good draft, though, 26 isn't looking so good.
I know. I mean, there's some gems in there. We'll see, Chuck. It's what you do with the picks, not who you draft. But Justin, it depends on where Tua ends up. He's got Tua for his quarterback. And then Booty's not bad. You can, if he's going off again next year and they don't add anyone, or maybe he still has that X receiver role, he's still viable. That's good. Oh, and you have Terry McLaurin. So he was hurt all year, but he could rebound once JD comes back. And then Worthy, maybe Rice freaking goes to jail, and then Worthy has to step up. So you do have some guys. You have AD Mitchell on your taxi still. And you have
what happened? Like, were the Colts not using him correctly? Because he went to the Jets and looked pretty good.
Well, we all knew AD Mitchell was good. It's just he's a knucklehead, and sometimes a team sees your knucklehead and they're just not going to play you because you've already spoiled that seed. So I think that's what he did. He got a fresh start. But I think Justin's aces in the hole are he has Gaston on his bench, and if Gaston can get back to he says that every time, but I can't talk a podcast and not have a dip in. But anyway, so in a tight end premium Spark 2 tight end league, Justin has Gadsden, Gunnar Helm, and Mason Taylor all riding on his taxi. So that is big time trade ammo, or just being able to stack those guys in your lineup when you need them. And then how many picks you got? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 27 first rounders right now, and then a shitload of second rounders for 27. So I think you're pretty well. You need to.
I think this upcoming draft, I got the 103 and the 105. So we'll see what we can do there. Kind of best available situation. But I mean, the best players on my team right now are my taxi squad. So it's all future stuff on my side right now.
Yeah, and that's how you do it. Justin knows how to rebuild better than anybody. He's played Dynasty a long time, and he freaking rebuilt it in our 1 quarterback league and came up with Waddle, Chase, all these guys, and his team's really good, really good. He knows how to rebuild. Okay, so we'll move on to Raw Milk next, and I'll let Chuck, if you want, break down Brandon's team if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. I was actually looking at his team. He was the last team that I was looking at before we got on here.
Good.
Yeah, I think, we'll start with quarterback here. Obviously he's got Burrow. I mean, a lot of Burrow and Purdy are his 2 solid guys. Purdy's going to be fine. With Shanahan there and doing all that stuff. And he's in a good situation. I mean, that's his whole thing, right? You know, is he in a good situation or is he a good quarterback? I mean, I think it's a little bit of both, but you know, JJ McCarthy, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm not sure what he's gonna do. I know he's been hurt a lot the last couple of years, so that could be part of it as well. So I would say like quarterbacks is like subpar.
Dylan's playing.
At least he's watching.
At least he's watching.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe and enter for a chance to win a free jersey.
Yeah.
He's got your boy Charbonnet, which, you know, he's like the touchdown machine. I mean, he's their red zone guy. So I smacked him on some anytime touchdown bets this year, and it paid off. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, Kamara's. I think the writing's on the wall with him. I think the ship has sailed there. I mean, I could be wrong, but I have a good feeling he's going to ride off in the sunset. I mean, running back, I would say a little bit outside of Chase Brown, which I feel like Chase Brown in the last 2 years, he always picks up at the end of the year. So he's like a, you know, cold weather running back, which is good, but started out really slow. So I would say running back is a little bit below average. You know, Pollard, I don't know. He's in Tennessee, so that's tough. And then you go to wide receiver here. You know, I think wide receiver for him, you know, you got T. Higgins, who's, you know, it's just boom or bust. I feel like a lot of these guys are just boom or bust. Mm-hmm. T. Higgins, I feel like, is one of them. Zay Flowers is another one. Perfect example of that. You know, DK, I would say, quite frankly, maybe outside of T. Higgins, DK is probably his most consistent receiver. He's got Cortland Sutton too, so I would say Cortland Sutton's probably up there as well. So it's like I think his receivers are a little bit better than his running backs, but it's not far off. And then you go, I think where he really excels is in the tight end position, because he's got Bowers and he's got Kittle, and I think that's honestly why he won last year. It's because he had, you know, two stellar tight ends, and that just shows you how important that position is in this league. It can take you really far. And then going down here to the taxi squad, he's got a lot of guys on taxi squad. You know, Trey Tucker's not bad. He's not terrible. I mean, he's not great, but he's not terrible. I don't know. I think it remains to be seen with him. That could be something there. I don't know.
He's no Riley Leonard. Let's.
Oh, you know what? Riley Leonard did look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I glazed over him that he's got Riley Leonard. So yeah, Chuck, I think you're right. He's got like a bunch of good guys on his taxi that are, I don't know, could be filling guys with an injury. But what I like is he has a good team, and Brandon is very stringent on trading away his picks. So you can tell he has all his picks for the next two drafts, which is great because he's got a nice deep team that are going to put up points, and he still has his picks to be able to make picks or fall back on. So I really love where he's at in this spot, even though I think he took a step back this year. His running backs, like you said, I think are all aging out pretty close. He's got like 1 year left of Pollard, Kamara, Connor, so Chase Brown, and Swift. Maybe Swift gets canceled out next year too. So his running backs are kind of aging out. His receivers are just put up points. He's got a bunch of spike week guys, but he's got all his picks. So this team's in pretty dang good shape for now in the future.
With those running backs, though, like now is the time to sell. I mean, heck, unless Kamara winds up going to, okay, I'm going to say it because everybody else says it, the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
So if that happens, then boom, you know, now I'm still selling him. I'm not going to trust that, you know, old running back, but I think this is a perfect time for him to go ahead and sell those three aging running backs right now. I don't think Tony Pollard's long, and I don't think Alvin Kamara's long. Swift has more of a future, you know, with Ben Johnson, but
yeah, but he's in a good spot. I like his team. So moving on, we're going to move on to Reeks Like Team Spirit, which Bo is the name of the owner of this team. And we'll start with his QBs. He's got Josh Allen. He says he is never trading Josh Allen ever. And why would you? Because Josh Allen has carried him to the playoffs on his back. And he made a trade. He got Cam Ward and he had CJ Stroud. So I remember him, and I think he accumulated a first in that deal. Somehow down the line, he got someone else. No, he didn't. Never mind.
No.
He didn't first, but he basically swapped Stroud for Ward. So we'll see. That remains to be seen. Right now, I'd probably still take Stroud over Ward. But then he basically just gutted his team. He started selling guys mid through the year. He picked up Golden. Like he probably thinks he might have a resurgence next year, which I don't mind. I mean, if you're rebuilding and you get him cheap, he's got Scattaboo, and then he's got Puka. So he's got like 3 hammers on this team that he can fall back on and still do pretty well. But I think Bo has a lot of work to do. But you can tell when you guys listen to him in the group chat, he really loves this league. He loves Dynasty. He said he doesn't play any other fantasy league now. He just plays this one league because he loves this league. But he owns no first-round picks, and he's rebuilding. So that's going to be up great. Like, yeah, Justin, what do? Do you sell Josh Allen and Puka and get as many firsts as you can? Or what are you doing? Because he's got no first and he's rebuilding and he's kind of in purgatory right now. He's probably a bottom 3 team with just 2-3 hammers and no first round picks.
I'm definitely so you definitely trade away your assets. Josh Allen and Cam Ward are going to be tough ones. I feel like Cam Ward's replaceable. I don't think he's like a next level type of player. I think he's going to be okay, going to be good, but it's the Titans though, and we haven't really seen much of the Titans. I think Woody Marks has some value right now until we see what's happening with the whole drama show of Joe Mixon, and then of course we know Nick Chubb's not going to be long. But I definitely say that he should trade Woody Marks for as much as he can get. Pacheco, same thing. Cam Scattaboo. Look, I get it. He's a rookie, but you don't need a running back when you're rebuilding. You don't. I mean, that's just, there's steps to it, and that's the last step. So get rid of him. Get rid of. Oh man, you got Romeo Dobbs and Matthew Golden. Don't like that. And Jaden Reed and Dontavian Witt. Okay, so he's got all the Packers receivers on here. Brother, get rid of them guys because you can't trust any of them. And Tyreek Hill, question mark? I don't know what to do with that one. But, hey, I do like Elijah Arroyo, Pat Freiermuth. So his tight ends are okay. Don't get rid of those guys because tight ends in a tight end premium league are hard to come by. And you were able to draft these guys, so that's good. But definitely trade your running backs. Trade all of those Packers receivers.
Yep. All right. We're going to move on to Youngie now, which is Greg's team. He came in third, like I said. So Greg did a masterful job this year in how you play Dynasty. So he went in and he won year 1. Year 2, he didn't have such a good year. So year 2, he sold some of his guys and acquired some first-round picks, but then he kept other players that still were putting up points. So he was kind of in limbo this season. Me and Dylan were talking about it, and Greg was kind of a 500 team. And then there's a teetering point to where he was either going to start selling or he was going to start buying. And so I think he had 1 week where he won, and it was in the midweek through the season, and then he had these firsts to play with. So he went and acquired – right when a team announced they're rebuilding, he went and pounced. He bought James Cook, I believe, and then he bought Kyron, and then he bought a couple other guys. He bought Juwan Jennings, a good fill-in guy, and Jameson Williams. So Greg did a really good job in not getting out over his skis. He kind of stayed in limbo. He saw where his team was going to go, and then he made the pounce, and now he's got a really good team. He's got good deep tight ends. He's got Njoku, Theo Johnson, Ingram. He's got good, like, startable guys. And then he's also got deep wide receivers, really good running backs, and decent quarterback play. He got Herbert from me. I traded him T-Law for Herbert, and I think I got Burden back. It ended up being Burden. But Herbert looked good at the time, and he still looks good. So Greg's team is set up good for the future. I think he's got a really good team. My only gripe is he has no picks. Chuck, what do you think about Greg's team?
Well, I think kudos to him for keeping Jameson Williams, because I heard some podcasts in the middle part of the year that he was droppable. I mean, he just wasn't doing anything. And so for him to hold on to him, I think that's why he went as far as he did, because Jameson caught fire. And if you look at some of those wins that he had in the playoffs, it was because Jameson Williams did something. And I think without that, I don't know if he would have gone as far. So I think you were spot on with that assessment. I'm looking at his team now. I mean, it's pretty well rounded. Like, there's nothing that outside of McCaffrey, and I think the reason why he struggled last year is because McCaffrey was out. So I think this team is like very heavily influenced by McCaffrey because he's that type of player. But he's, I would say, his best player. And then obviously having the James Cook, like what you were saying with James Cook, that was huge because I wasn't expecting him to have as many touchdowns this year as he had last year. Like, I don't know how much he finished with, but I mean, he was pretty close to what he was at last year. And I don't think anybody was expecting that. I heard talks that he was going to have a regression in touchdowns, and that was going to diminish his value a little bit. But, I think overall a pretty solid squad here. But the picks do kind of make me a little nervous because when you have injuries and stuff and you need to trade some picks for more assets, it's going to be hard.
Right. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, that trade that he made, it was James Cook and Jameson Williams for, I think, 2 firsts and then maybe a second, I want to say. But just the 2 firsts alone for James Cook is worth it in my eyes. So to get a potentially dynamic receiver like Jameson Williams helps a lot to keep him in the game, in the running, in the hunt. But yeah, not having draft picks always hurts. Especially when, you got Geno Smith, who's just a dud. I think so. If any of you out there are loyal listeners, our boy Slayton, he was telling everybody every week, hey, go bet the over on Geno Smith interceptions, and you make some money. So if you listen to Slayton, you made a lot of money. So, but yeah, Geno, not trusting that. The Kyler Murray thing, first off, the Justin Herbert, he's your premier quarterback. Let's just be clear about that. So that's fine. But the Kyler Murray thing, I'd probably start looking to make some moves for your QB2 there, brother. But yeah, if you were looking to rebuild, McCaffrey's your asset right now. Like, I don't think we're going to see another time to sell as high as right now on Christian McCaffrey. So if you do some soul searching, which I don't think you're in the rebuilding spot yet, but Jamar Chase is on your team. So there's some things you can do. Try to move DJ Moore, things like that, but I think this roster is competitive next year, barring a few moves that, you can make, but not bad.
Yeah.
Well, if history has told us anything, McCaffrey's going to get hurt next year.
Yeah. It's the opposite year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll see. So next we're going to go to Pooner's team, which if I had to pick a team that I'd want, I'd probably take Pooner's team just because I really loved this past draft class. This is one of my favorite draft classes that I've come across since playing Dynasty. And like I said before, Pooner had, I think, 10 first-round picks, a lot of second-round picks, a lot of third-round picks. And I think his best pick of the entire draft was Harold Fanning. And I wanted Harold Fanning. He was one of my targets in all the Dynasty League rookie drafts. But I sold off all my seconds and thirds this year, and that's where Fanning was going. And he took him, I believe, in the mid-second or later second. And that's good. Fanning looks, I think, what is Fanning now, Justin? He's like tight end 4 now in Dynasty already.
Yeah. Harold Fanning's looking pretty good. So if you got Njoku, it's not looking good for you.
Yeah, so Pooner's got a nice deep team. It's all deep. He's got Laporta. He's got really good tight ends. He's got really good receivers. He's got BTJ. If he makes a comeback, he bought Alex Pierce from Bo. So we'll see if Alex Pierce, where he gets his next contract, because I believe he's a free agent. He's got Tet. He's got Nico. He's got some hammers. He's got Evans coming back too. And then his running backs are really where he invested in this past draft, which I love. I love this running back class. He's got Hendo, he's got Jenny, he's got Junkins, And then he's got Corum if Kyron gets hurt or standalone value. And then his quarterbacks aren't bad. Jackson Dart, the entire time he said he was going to take Jackson Dart with his last first-round pick, and he didn't feel good about it. Everyone that I listened to, I'm sure Chuck and all those listened to, everyone was saying in Superflex tight end premium, Dart should have been going a little later, he was going in the early second, but Pooner actually went on a limb and took him a little earlier, and that was a good move. So he's got him, Nix, and Stroud. I think he's got a really good deep team, and he doesn't have many picks in 26, but he's got a couple, but he has his full allotment in 27. So, Chuck, what do you think about Pooner's team?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's got a really young running back group. And then, that's huge. Realistically, he's going to be a thing. He's got the talent. I know this year wasn't what everyone thought, but he had glimpses, and I think he was pretty good. I think I was looking at it, he sat him in the championship game, and I think that came down, or not the championship game, for the consolation game, or was it? Maybe I'm getting confused here because there was one.
He might have.
I think he sat him.
Went like 35 points, and I think that was because he was going against Houston or something like that. A really good defense.
Yeah. So that was what we were talking about earlier, where it's like you got all these guys, and then now you start favoring the matchups. It's like, well, he doesn't have a good matchup because Houston's got a good run defense, so I'm going to sit him, and then he ends up going off. So that's what makes it really hard. And I think that was in the semifinals to go to the championship. I still think he would have lost even if he started him. I don't think it would have mattered. But Bucky he started out really good this year, but then I think the injuries kind of hindered him a little bit. And even when he came back, he just didn't look like himself. He looked a little bit thinner. He didn't look as bulky as he did when he first started the season. So I think Bucky will be fine moving forward. I mean, they want to push that offense around him. So I think that's fine. And like you said with the quarterbacks, I mean, Jackson Dart's he's a mobile quarterback. Like he's going to be good for fantasy and especially for Dynasty. And then if you go down into the tight ends, I mean, there's so much there for the tight ends for him. Like he has younger tight ends like Harold Fannin, but he also has established guys like Sam Laporta, and everyone was talking after Sam Laporta's first year, he was like the thing in tight ends. So,
he's got
very
Kraft.
easily.
I didn't even see he's got Kraft. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's got Kraft. So I mean, he's going to be he's going to be just fine. And then having all of his 27 picks, I mean, he set himself up very nicely, and I really like how he rebuilt his team. Last year, I kind of tried to mimic what he did with what I'm currently doing right now, because it seemed to work and it made a lot of sense. And you're seeing the residual of that now with his team. I mean, I was kind of surprised at how well-rounded his team, because before the draft, I'm like, I don't know how. I know he's got all the picks, but I don't know how he's going to do it right out the gate. And then all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, this guy's a contender already. So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, this draft class, I loved his draft class. Yeah. I mean, 101, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, and then 206, 208, 210. Good golly. I mean, we're looking at Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, Ted McMillan, Amarin Hampton, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Travis Hunter, Jackson Dart, Trey Harris, Terrence Ferguson, Kyle Williams, and then Harold Fannin at 303. Dude, this is how you draft. So, as far as youth goes, yeah, he's pretty good. I think all these guys are gonna work out pretty well for him.
Yep.
I'm a big Tet fan too. I think Tet's gonna be a monster.
He's
got the talent.
We know Tet's good. It just depends on Young, and I think Young, he's probably gonna get some sort of deal, like a 3-year deal. I don't think they're gonna max pay him or anything. If they're smart, they'll sign him to like a Sam Darnold 2-year deal, but we'll see. That's to be seen. All right, next we're going to move on to our guest's team on this podcast, and that is Chuck's team. And Chuck, I'll just let you take the floor in what you're going to do for the upcoming season. What's your plan? You don't have to give away everything, but I mean, Dynasty's a hell of a drug, so what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, as far as my team goes, I got really nothing to show outside of Jaden. I got a lot of offers for Shador. I don't know. We'll see. I do think there is something there with him. You know, he's got the arm talent. It's just going to be all the other stuff that's outside of football for him. So I'm kind of holding on hope that he, is a thing. But as far as my team goes, there's really nothing there. It's really the picks for me that break it down. I have 7 firsts. I know it's not the strongest draft class, but I'm kind of banking on the fact that we're all kind of sickos when it comes to fantasy, and when you get towards the draft, you get a little bit of FOMO, and so I'm kind of banking on that and saying, hey, and dangling the fruit in front of the, in front of the lions, so to speak, and say, hey, what are you thinking here? So I kind of want to.
Real quick. When you rebuild, Chuck, it's the most fun thing because when the NFL draft comes on and you have all these picks, Justin, I'm sure you can tell them that day one you are sitting in front of your TV and you are just watching these teams, and you're watching this wide receiver go in the first round, this running back go in the first round. You're saying, okay, I got 101, I got 105, this guy's going to be there. And it's like Christmas Day when you're rebuilding in Dynasty and you're watching the NFL draft. It is one of the most fun freaking things to do in the world, right, Justin?
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially when you have 7 picks in the upcoming draft, Chuck.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a fun time. Which, hey, I'll go on record right here on the show and say, I got 103 and 105. If you want to make a deal for 101 and 102, man, let's talk.
Yeah. It's funny because Alex sent me a trade this morning, and he wanted Jaden for Lamar and my 201. And that's not happening.
No, you love some Jaden, huh?
No, I'm not buying into that, to the digression. I think Jaden's going to be just fine.
Well, we'll see what OC they bring in now that Cliff's gone.
I'm not paying anything on top of Jaden to get Lamar. I think that's a straight up. I would actually think Jaden's probably more expensive. I would want something on top of Jaden for Lamar.
He definitely has a big lead on youth, that's for sure. Plus, their skill sets are very similar, I think.
Yes. So you just take.
Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit of a panic one too, because Harbaugh's out, and the thing with Harbaugh is like he to his credit, when Lamar came in, he totally changed the offense for Lamar. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if what a new coach is going to do for his value. I don't think it's going to change it that much, but it could. And there is that uncertainty there when you're bringing in a new coach. So I think that might be a little far-fetched, but there could be something there. But again, I'm kind of banking on, I know this draft isn't as strong as some of the others, but I think that leveraging the picks and trying to gain assets on top of gaining actual players for the picks, like from that draft class, I think that's kind of my recipe for success here. Because I do have a few seconds and I have a few thirds, and obviously you never know in those rounds. I mean, we're just talking about Harold Fanning in 308. There's going to be somebody there. Puka was one of them a few years ago. They are there.
All those picks are dart throws, and that's what you do is you gather many darts as you can to throw at the board. And
you got 5 second rounders, so that doesn't hurt at all. Like if you're a hardcore and you watch film and you stay glued in during the off season, bro, you can thrive in the second round easily.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on.
And then having my 27 picks too.
You're set up pretty good for a rebuild, man. I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
All right, 4 teams left. We'll go to Jakaris, which is Corey's team. This team was thrashed by injuries this year. I'm going to go over Corey's team. I kind of like it. It's very deep in every single position. He's got Goff and Love and Mahomes. And here's my wild card. He's got Malik Willis, which is going to be a factor this or next year. We got to see where Malik Willis goes, because when he played, he was throwing balls down the field. He looked accurate, and he looks like the best rusher in the NFL. So that's a big one. And then his running backs are great. He's got Achane, Javante out of nowhere. Actually, his running backs are a little thin, so he's got to do some work there. But where he really flourishes are his wide receivers. He's got Rashee Rice, which God forbid, I don't know. Garrett Wilson, as you can see, all these guys were hurt. Drake London hurt this year. Marv hurt this year. He's got Shaheed for a boom guy. And then his tight ends are really solid. I like A.J. Barner. He came along. Hawkinson, he's kind of fallen off, but you never know. Juwan Jesus Johnson, he carried some teams this year. He's got Colby Parkinson, Pitts. He's got very deep tight ends and Chig. Only gripe again is he's got no picks. Corey's one of those guys that F's those picks. So every move he's got to make is going to be off his team. Chuck, what do you think about Corey's team?
Yeah, I think it's the picks for me. I do like his team. I've liked his team for the last couple of years, actually. I mean, he's got a lot of good playmakers. I think what you said about Malik Willis, dude, he looked really good in those games that he had to fill in. I mean, great. I agree with you. He's arguably
He looked like a whole new
back.
man. Like this wasn't Tennessee Malik Willis.
Yeah, yeah. But having Achane is huge because I mean Achane quietly had one of the best running back seasons out of anybody, and nobody talked about it because he was in Miami and they weren't winning. But yeah, I mean overall, like not a bunch of guys that you're going to be like, wow, like a Jamar Chase or a Christian McCaffrey or a Puka. That's like, whoa, you got that guy, or Josh Allen. But he's got quality guys and a good amount of guys that can carry him for the next few years. But it's just going to be the picks, and what worries me is like you get a Rashee Rice issue, or you get some injuries like he had last year, and I think that's why he had he fell a little bit short.
Justin?
Yeah, I agree with you on the tight ends thing, man. The tight ends look really good. I know he's got to be very happy about Kyle Pitts' reemergence. After pretty much almost the whole fantasy community was just ready to drop Kyle Pitts and just kind of give up. I mean, good for you. That's going to work out, unless next year he comes out and you're so high and then boom, he's dud again. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's a good team, man. I mean, I know Patrick Mahomes is hurt, but he'll be fine. He's going to come back. Jared Goff, Jared Goff's not bad. He's got a good offense. Of course, he was better with Ben Johnson. I'll admit that. But man, I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see how this team goes. But you have squat for picks. You got a 26 fifth and a 27 fifth. You got nothing. You got nothing there. So you pretty much either got to trade big assets like Marvin Harrison or Patrick Mahomes, something. And I don't know. It's up to what direction you want to go. But yeah, running back, if Javonte Williams didn't amount to anything in Dallas, man, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, and he had Monty Vidal for that stretch too. So he did run pretty good on his running backs, but that's the thing with Dynasty. I mean, you need one anchor, and then honestly, they say if you just freaking spray and pray and have like 6 RB2s and filling guys on your bench, you can just get by on that as long as you got that one anchor, which Achane was. So yeah, I like Corey's team, and we all know that Corey's always willing to make trades. He's one of the most active owners in the league, so I'm glad we have him. Next, we're going to go to Dylan's team, which was the most dominant team of the year this year. I think he ran really pure on his quarterbacks. He made a good trade on Justin. He took Daniel Jones and he banked a first. And I think, Justin, when you were competing, you traded that for Kirko Chains. So that was a really good move because he didn't even know Daniel Jones was going to be a starter. But that's one of those insulated trades to where you grab a guy that's young, that still has some upside, and then you bank the first, and sometimes it works out in your favor. Mm-hmm. So he did get Brissett. He has Brissett. He was running good, and Stafford was his MVP. So his quarterbacks freaking carried his team this year. And then on top of that, I like Dylan's team because it's like the opposite of Pooner's team, but it's not super aged out either. He's got a dynasty team, but more of a redraft dynasty team, which is kind of the way you want to win and play dynasty. All his guys, aside from Gibbs, are all old veterans. He's got Jacobs, Henry, and Montgomery for his running backs, aside from Gibbs. So all those guys are old, freaking ironclad, and they put up points. Same thing with his wide receivers. They're all older, established veterans. He's got Devontae Smith. Jets is his. I mean, he had a good year and he didn't have Jets firing on all cylinders. He's got AJ Brown, Keenan Allen. So again, Dylan builds these teams with guys that just put up points that have been established veterans in the league for a long time. And then again, he had Trey McBride, one of the best tight end seasons of all time. With Hunter Henry, he picked up Greg Dulcich that had some freaking serviceable weeks. He's got Gesicki. Hunter Henry, I know that's a Dylan favorite. Hunter Henry is pure and steady. And Hunter Henry looks good with Drake May right now for the foreseeable future. And then to top it off, he spent the load of his waiver on Darren Waller, and we gave him a bunch of shit. And I even gave him a bunch of shit because I didn't think Darren Waller was going to come back and play at all. And Darren Waller actually came back, and I picked him up in redraft and started him in a bunch of spots, and he had a couple big spike weeks. So yeah. Dylan knows what he's doing. He's got a good team. He's got no 26 picks, but he still has his 27 first in his back pocket, so he can use that to make a potential move. So, Justin, what do you think about Dylan's team, your best friend?
Yeah, oh yeah. We have a lot of good banter. It keeps it fun and exciting. I don't think you mentioned Travis Kelce on his team. So that's somebody that, man, it's kind of right now, is he going to retire or not? He is set to be a free agent. We'll see if the Chiefs are actually in a good spot in the draft this year. So I would be curious to see if they're going to take either Stowers or Sadiq there. If that happens, then I think Travis Kelce is done for. So I would go ahead and get rid of Travis Kelce as fast as you can. And let's see here. The receivers, the receivers are looking great. Like you said, with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Not crazy about having two receivers on the same team, though. Especially the Eagles haven't looked amazing this year. They kind of look like they were missing something. But Keenan Allen, I mean, he could be retired this year again. So on paper, because obviously, Justin Jefferson is your guy. Like, he's your primary. It's not a bad room, I don't think, at all. Got Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown as your three, like, set them and forget them guys. But running back, this is prime example of sell your older running backs. We saw Derrick Henry up until those last 2 weeks. We saw the fall off was hard for Derrick Henry. That's him and Josh Jacobs. I would go ahead and try and move off from if you can, unless you're saying, "Hey, man, I'm gonna sell that 27 first, and I'm gonna go in even harder." I'm gonna commit, and we're gonna try and not finish in second place.
Yeah, Chuck. What do you think about Tyler Shuck? I just noticed that Dylan has him on his taxi squad. That's a nice pickup. I'm wondering, Justin, can you look up when he nabbed him while Chuck?
306.
He got Shuck at 306. What do you think of Shuck in his future, Chuck?
I mean, he kind of surprised everybody, I think. I mean, that's, because I didn't even see him on his list, because if you were going to ask me what my biggest gripe on his team is, I think his quarterbacks are a little aged out, because with Daniel Jones with an Achilles, I just don't know how, that's going to and he's not. Daniel Jones is on a prove it kind of deal this year and surprised a lot of people. Stafford's getting older, so I don't know how many more good years he has. Remains to be seen. I think Dak is his biggest asset for quarterback right now, but Shuck is making a good argument for that, because he looks like he's primed to be like a comparable quarterback in this league. I mean, maybe it was just a fluke thing, but I don't know. I mean, it looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, everything that I've seen, me being the resident Colts fan, everything that I'm seeing and hearing from the management team in Indianapolis is they are making re-signing Daniel Jones a priority, and they're saying that he should be good to go by training camp or mid-training camp. So that's good. I mean, if having Daniel Jones just come out of nowhere for you, that was really, really good. So I don't know. I think his quarterbacks are okay, but I agree with you, though. The Matthew Stafford thing, he's a little older. He doesn't have anything else to prove. He's already got a Super Bowl ring. So we'll see how the playoffs and everything play out for him.
Yep. All right. We got two more teams. Next one is Stu Gotts. This is another fun young team. This is a team kind of comparable to Pooner's team. He's got some really good young assets. He's got Drake May anchoring his quarterback room along with Caleb Williams, solid. And then he's got Hampton as hammer RB. He's got Benson. We don't know what Benson's going to be. I was kind of in on Benson once he took the role, and then he got hurt. So it remains to be seen on if they add someone. And then again, there's a lot. You could see it's escaping my mind. It's getting late, but in this league, everyone has like the good teams all have good wide receiver rooms, and he's got another good wide receiver room. He's got JSN. He's got Ibuka. He's got some really good young wide receivers. He's got Neighbors that's hurt. And then I think he went all in. So he saw how BVD won last year with tight ends. So he went and 101, 102, he grabbed Loveland and Warren. So he went all in on the tight ends, and I think he freaking nailed those picks. Loveland had a late season breakout. Warren was solid. So this is a really fun team. He's got Hunter on taxi. I didn't even see that. So it remains to be seen with him. And then he's got 227 first banked in his back pocket. So, Justin, what do you think about this team?
So I want to touch on the draft, like going, like you said, 102, 103, Loveland, Warren, back-to-back. That was really smart. The format, tight end premium. So, boom, there you go. Especially two great prospects like that come out of the draft. So that was a pretty smart decision on his. And then being able to grab Ibuka 111. So, boom, there you go. You've got good young talent there for the future. Because outside of like Michael Mayer and Ben Sinnott, that you didn't really have anything at tight end. So you had to make something happen there. So that was good. Having Malik Neighbors, though, on IR, he's gonna come back. He's gonna be healthy. We'll see who the Giants are gonna bring in for their head coach, offensive coordinator, the whole kit and caboodle here. What's gonna happen? But Drake May. So this is at the time. So I drafted Drake May and I traded him Drake May last year when I was competing. I ended up finishing second in that league, so fell a little short, but I drafted him Jared Goff for Drake May. Like I said, I was competing, and they still had Ben Johnson, so he got a steal with Drake May on that, looking at it now. And then Caleb Williams, who actually looks okay, so that's good, man. Like, as far as his two quarterbacks go, like his QB1, QB2s, set him and forget him as it is right now. Well, we'll see what the future holds. Nick Chubb, not crazy about that. Trey Benson, we still don't know who the hell Trey Benson is. We thought we were going to get a glimpse this year, and it didn't work out. I don't know, man. Trey Benson is going to be a tough one. I have a couple shares of him, so I'm kind of holding on to see what happens. But I do love the Amarion Hampton. That is great. But outside of that, not crazy about the running backs there for the old Stugats. But receivers, again, we talked about Emeka Ibuka, Roma Dunze, JSN. I think Parker Washington is somebody to watch. I think he is going to emerge as we saw him do a little bit this year. So I think Parker Washington is going to be somebody that he's going to enjoy and going to hold. But his Emeka Ibuka is going to blow up because Mike Evans is going to retire or go somewhere else. He's a free agent coming up. That's just how it's going to be. And he's older already. So Emeka is the future there. But not all in all, man, I think this is a really good team. Let me see, as far as draft picks go, he's got his 27, he's got 227 first, and then he's got his 27 second. Other than that, I mean, not really much draft picks. So this year, he'll pretty much just be sitting at home watching with no skin in the game. But yeah, Travis Hunter, I still don't know how they're going to use him that well. So that's a big question mark for me on his team is Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Chuck, anything to shortly add?
I would say this is, if I had to pick one team that I could trade places with, this would be the team. This team is fun to look at.
I like this team.
I think every position has got somebody that excites you. And not only that, but he has quite a bit of picks, not just, I mean, I know 26 is a little bleak, but 27, he's got picks. And Tyler Warren is going to be a thing. Like, he is a good tight end. And so, like, you have Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren as your two tight ends of the future. I think this is a team that needs to be looked out for in the future, because I think there's so much potential on this team.
Yeah, well said. I like that team too. Our final team is Eddie's team. It's Ned Stark's Bastard. This team was a contender to start the season, and then he realized he wasn't going to win, so he started to rebuild. He's kind of taken the Greg approach this year. He still kind of kept some assets, but he still kind of acquired some picks, so he's kind of in the middle, which is not a bad place to be if you do it right. He really doesn't have any quarterbacks. He's got Karen Rodgers. He might get one more year out of him. And then he's got Chuba. Chuba's got some upside if Dowdle goes down. Same with Bashal Tootin. And then Rachaad White, he could sign with freaking, everyone says the Chiefs, but what if the Chiefs sign Rachaad White? I mean, that'd be a good addition. And then he's got some tradable assets again. He's got Diggs for maybe another year. Maybe Ridley comes back and actually plays football. He's got Wandell. Wandell can do something because he's a free agent. He might sign somewhere. I saw an interesting stat on Wandell that he's the shortest receiver ever to put up 1,000 yards last season. So there's no other 5'8" receiver that put up 1,000 yards. It's Wandell Robinson.
Is that advanced stat metrics?
Yeah, I freaking took that from a podcast. And then he's got A-Rich. You never know, Anthony Richardson. Someone can trade for him. Or an NFL team could trade for him. He might get his second chance. So where Eddie's at, he's got picks, though. He's got 26 firsts. He's got 3 seconds. So he's loaded in the 26 class. He's got some deep picks there. And then he's also got some picks in 27. He's got 227 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. So he's set. He's got a little bit of picks from each class, and he's got some tradable assets. So it's up to him whether he wants to continue to further this rebuild and capitalize. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, I think the picks are his biggest part of his team, because like his actual team, like you said, it's the older like Greg approach, and I think that it's going to be tough to compete next year with this group, especially the quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks are very slim. But he's got the picks, so what he does with them, that remains to be seen as far as how he's going to approach it. But it could go a bunch of different ways, which is cool, like in Dynasty, because like it's not just you can take multiple different approaches, and we don't know exactly where he's going to go with it, but it's that's what makes it exciting, because you have those options to kind of push forward however you feel is fit.
Yep. Justin, what do you want?
Yeah, it sucks that he doesn't have his own 26 first.
Yeah,
because it would have been a pretty good pick at that point, but still to have 2 first rounders and 3 second rounders that's still pretty good. That just means you're gonna have to buckle down and do some research. And you can get that research here on Kingmaker Sports this offseason. We'll be breaking down film, so I'm pretty looking forward to that. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's just this team just needs a lot of tender love and care here. The not much happening. It's kind of ugly, man, at this point. The draft is where Ned Stark's Bastard is gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, but I know Eddie. I'm really good friends with him, and he's probably more plugged into fantasy football than anyone in this league. I know Dylan's a sicko, but we're all sickos. But Eddie's freaking intelligent, and he's way plugged in, so he'll be able to turn it around. Eddie, if you listen, stop being a Jew. I don't know if I could say this, and freaking start opening up your horizons and hearing some trade offers, and don't ask for 2 firsts for like Derek Carr and stuff. Eddie he's a penny pincher. He tries to squeeze as much as he can. So that's what we got. I don't want to review my team. It's getting late. We got to go to bed. I've got one more year to run it, and then I might rebuild. I'm kind of contemplating on taking my team and tearing it down and rebuilding. just for fun since I won. So we'll see where that goes. But I think I got one more year of competitiveness if I want to. But that's all I got. That's a good breakdown. I'd like to put this on the chat so maybe guys can go back and listen to this if they haven't listened live. I know a lot of probably guys will do that. So we'll do that. Or Justin, can you upload that? But thanks you two for breaking down my league. I really appreciate your time and hearing your guys' advice. Chuck, it was awesome having you. You did a good job for freaking probably your first time podcasting on here. I'm sure Justin would freaking take you back if we need a fill-in on Kingmaker or anything, because I mean you're obviously plugged in and you speak pretty well. So thank you, Chuck, for coming. And Justin, thank you for allowing us to use your platform to discuss this. You guys, Chuck, you got anything to add?
No, it was a pleasure. It's a lot of fun. I like doing this stuff and just talking and just kind of like, because I feel like we're all pretty tight knit with this group, and there's a lot, it's kind of like part of our lives now at this point, which is pretty cool. Come get neighbors. Yeah, he's trying so hard. No, this is awesome. I mean, anytime you guys want me on, I'm more than willing to jump on and give my take on whatever. But I appreciate the opportunity.
Deal. I love having more people on because the more opinions and takes you get, that just makes it so much better, especially when people have questions. Like our biggest thing that we enjoy the most is when viewers submit their questions and we answer them, live on air. It's fun. And to have more opinions, I think is just so much greater than just running solo and stuff like that. So, but yeah, if you want to come back on, man, I'd love to have you. I know Mick love to have you. Slayton loves having more people on. So this offseason, this summer we'll be doing, this offseason, NFL offseason, we're gonna be doing Dynasty, like just nothing but Dynasty. So this is our bread and butter right here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love that because I'm trying to. This is my first Dynasty league, so I'm kind of trial by fire here, as you can see with my team. But I'm just learning. I like just jumping on here and listening to you guys talk. I learned a lot, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you did awesome, man. Thank you. You did great.
For sure.
Okay. Justin, take us out.
All right, man. So thank you everybody for watching. I know most of the people watching right now are league mates of ours, just kind of seeing what kind of trash talk we're going to have about you. Don't worry. We'll save all the good mean stuff for off the air. So, but again, like we mentioned at the top of the show, if you subscribe, once we reach 200 subscribers, we'll get you entered to win a free jersey. But with that being said, we will see you later on the next episode.